looking at your drawings and first of all, I'm wondering, did you actually break down these things like the way we talked? Okay, I can see some of the breakdowns here. I don't see the breakdown for this one. I don't see the breakdown, but I think I think I might understand what you try to do here. But well, I mean, if this is the style you want to go for, or this is the way that you interpreted this drawing, I'm not you. We're different. We're different artists, so we're going to see things differently no matter what. But in terms of proportions and whether things are working, based on what you've drawn, I would say that a lot of things and a couple of things. Let me not say a lot of things. A couple of things are not quite working. So when you when you put this line here, I'm trying to understand the intent of this. I understand that you're trying to do the rib cage. You're trying to show the rib cage here, but you see the line, the center line, the center of mass, like of her body, which is this line, is actually here. So you need to pay attention to where your center line is so that you can place these things properly. I see the construction lines underneath, but it's still not quite working. Maybe you wanted to, you change your mind about following the under construction, or the underlying construction, but you didn't follow through with the believability of the forms.
Hi everyone. My name is Elizabeth Ogoye. I'm a digital illustrator. One thing that this class really did for me was help me see differently. So I've been drawing heads normally, just approach it like steady. But with this class, I was able to see like new ways to draw like the same thing and to like exaggerate things properly. Then also the class on soonest is also basically on seeing ways to apply like common ideas uncommonly. So that was really nice for me. I got to do that. And also like the painting aspect. It was a bit of a struggle for me and it kind of still is. But being able to do that level of painting was definitely like a confidence boost for me to be able to do that. So I do appreciate that in the class. And same for the figures, which I'm still trying to nail. But generally, what this class has done for me is to be able to see differently and to take my time when I'm doing studies. So when I'm doing studies, generally, I'll just do it. But now there is intent and more thought towards it.
This course is now available for purchase on Gumroad. Then also I noticed a couple of things you do, like when you put whenever you put a stroke like this, it has to have an intent. So what is the intention of this stroke? Is it supposed to represent the okay, I see what you did here. But that's a shadow. So this line is a shadow line. If you put a shadow line there, it doesn't really work. Your proportions. So I understand that this is foreshortened, but if something is foreshortened, like it's not going to be this short. If this is the length of our arm and you foreshorten it, so let me reduce the opacity so you see what I'm doing. If we're going to draw this lady's hand, it won't be that short. It should be something like if our hands are up here, then you also have to pay attention to you do a lot of this, a lot of repetition of like curves. When you do this, it takes a lot away from the interest. Like it doesn't look interesting when you repeat the patterns. If you did something like this is more interesting, or this. Try to vary the width of your wrinkles and folds so that it's not repetitive. This part is too repetitive. So doing something like I understand that she has what you're looking at. The reference has a lot of wrinkles, but you have to stylize, like you have to stylize or simplify. That's the word I'm looking for. You have to simplify it. Try to simplify things. It's not everything that we see that we copy and draw. Like you have to. It's not just you're not just drawing what you're seeing. You're actually trying to simplify what you're seeing at the same time. And then your hands. I know hands can be difficult to draw, but try to just simplify everything you're looking at. Then there's a lot of lines that are not really well thought through that are here. This is not how the knee works. The knee has there's the patella is here, and then you have bone. You have like, so if I imagine the knee, the knee is like this. The bones, it's like the bones there, are like that. So you want to, yeah, when you draw, you're thinking about this this U, this thing that looks like a U, is this patella, is this part, and then this part under is this part. So this part is this part, and this part is this part. You have to think like that. So you have to think about the bone that is underneath when you're drawing. The same thing too with this leg. And even the reference has a, like, actually you can actually see it in the reference. So you see what I'm saying? That's the patella, and then this is the lower part of the bone, and then the upper part is here. The reason why you have this curve here is because of the muscle. There's a group of muscles up there. So this is usually how the knee looks when it's relaxed. This is how it looks. Here as well, you can see this is the muscle again. This muscle actually goes like this. So there's a muscle there. But we don't need to draw because she's not muscular. So you can just simplify like that. So I just used 2 lines to simplify this thing as opposed to 3 lines you put here. So always try to simplify things. You don't need too much, like you don't need to show all the contours and all the lines inside every single detail. Just be extremely simple. The same thing too with this one as well. Yeah, for guys, you can be more complex, but still pay attention to reading, like the flow of things. So you see how this one is flowing. You're supposed to create. This is what I was saying about reading the book. Read the book about force, the one I recommended. You see his hands, it's flowing. There's a flow. It flows like this. So you have to think about that when drawing at the same time. So what I'm trying to say is that you're not supposed to have these 2 muscles meet each other like this. You can do that. I mean, there are many ways of stylizing stuff, but try to think about this more than than the other suggestion. He has a very long torso. I feel like he didn't really do justice to this torso. It actually should be longer. Should be longer. Yeah, then for this guy, again, it's the same thing I was talking about, like all these contours. We don't need all this, every single detail, like all of these things here. It's too much. Too many lines going on here. So just simplify it. So look at what I mean by simplifying. Look at the overall shape. Just think about the whole shape, the shape as a whole, and just simplify it. So what I'm seeing is I'm seeing this. You get, that's just a very simple way of drawing this thing. And then if you want to put a line here, if you can, but just keep it simple, like something like this is okay. This is enough to suggest that this other side, you don't need to do the same on this side. If you've done it on this side, you've suggested it to us that this other side will also have the same thing. All right, so I have to move on to the same thing too with all these ones. Just try to keep the same, what I've just pointed out when drawing. Keep it very, very simple. We don't need all these lines, all these excess lines. And try to look at the whole thing as shapes. Try to see everything as a shape. This is one shape. This is another shape. This is another shape. A shape, a shape. We like draw it as one, like draw it as one shape. Think about everything as one shape, rather than breaking it into parts and then showing all these different contours or all these excess contours. It takes away the appeal from it and makes it look unnecessarily complex. Hi guys, so in the fall of 2025, I got to host an 8-week masterclass titled Ethnic Character Design for Animation, which had a decent number of signups. I got to share a ton of rich information, secrets, industry insights that I used to craft an award-winning character like Noni Eyes of Wakanda. The sessions were archived and compiled into a digestible course. This course is now available for purchase on Gumroad. So if you are an intermediate level artist seeking to diversify your portfolio to include culturally grounded characters in animation, then this is for you. So this was what I was trying to say in the class, that when you are working on your second part of the assignment, which is the characters that you've taken from somebody else, you have to find one body type for that character, one body type. What I'm seeing here, I'm seeing different body types. I'm seeing this one looks like endo. This one looks like ecto. This one is definitely ecto. And this one is meso. So you've actually given me a completely different range of characters, like of body types for one single character. It doesn't make it doesn't work like that. You don't What I was saying is you find one body type. So if the body type is ecto, for example, or ecto endo or whatever, this is the body type. Then you do like explorations. You do 4 explorations of this same body type. No meso, nothing. Just this one singular body type. But you've done different types, and characters don't work like, you can't do a character lineup, not character lineup rather. You can't do character options where they are completely different from each other. These are all completely different characters, and it's not believable. And it's not believable because the character has one personality, right? So she can't have all these different body types for one personality. According to what I see here, Tana is an antagonist, mysterious, quiet, secretive, middle-aged goddess, right? So these are key words: middle-aged, goddess, antagonist. So what is the right body type for that kind of person? I think that because she's middle-aged, I think it should be a combination of endo and ecto. I think that, and from what I'm seeing here, there's really no body type that fits. This one, I think, is the closest because she's a goddess. She's a goddess as well. So Tana is a goddess. So I think this body type is closest to what we're looking for. Is what you should be, is where you should lean. No meso. Like, meso doesn't work at all for this character. So yeah, lean towards this goddess and refine it very well. Like, yes, if you want her arms to be ecto, that's fine. But her body, because she's a goddess, you might want to make her like slender figure, very what's the word? Sultry. So yeah, I think this is the direction you should go. I don't know whether you actually took someone's head. I don't know if this is a head from someone else's design, but please, make sure that you respect other people's work. If this is somebody's head, which I don't think it is, it seems like you redrew this head on top of this. You have to take people's actual heads and place and draw bodies for that.